not been open to Ella. She'd had to find work straight away, and had done so on a Roman dig in Somerset. What she really wanted, though, was a position on a dig abroad. There was a huge dig presently taking place at Amarna in Egypt, and a dig on the Greek island of Ithaca that, though far smaller than the Amarna dig, had the potential of becoming just as big if the suspected existence of a Bronze Age temple there was confirmed. The sound of Sam's motorbike and sidecar trundling up the road broke into her thoughts. He came to a halt a few feet away from her. Keeping the engine ticking over, he said in amusement, "You're looking preoccupied. What is it this time? Roman coins? Roman votive offerings?"
"Neither,"
she said amiably. Ignoring the sidecar, she straddled the pillion and covered her flame-red hair with a scarf to stop it blowing in her eyes.
"I was wondering how I could get a position on a dig abroad. Egypt at a pinch, but Greece for preference."
"Do you have to work on a dig? Why not try for a position at a museum?" She knew what he really meant was why couldn't she get a permanent job near to home? A job that would keep her in Yorkshire, so that he would be able to see more of her. As he revved the engine, she held on to his waist, shouting above the engine noise,
"Museum work is boring compared to working on a dig. Being on a dig is where all the exciting things happen. Can you imagine how Howard Carter felt breaking through into Pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb? Or Sir Arthur Evans when he realised he'd unearthed the palace of a Bronze Age Cretan king?"
Sam couldn't, and knowing it was useless to try, put the bike into gear. Seconds later they were rounding the corner by the Ling Bob public house and roaring up the short hill that led away from Willesden's outskirts. From the top of the hill there was a magnificent view of the moors, and then, for the next 5 miles, it was all downhill, gently at first, and then, as they neared Bradford's soot-blackened city centre, far more steeply. They halted outside the exchange station, with 15 minutes to spare before her train left. "Have you time for a quick cup of tea?" Sam took off his motorcycle goggles and ran a hand over straw-coloured hair.
"I don't think so. If the train is already in the station, I'd like to get straight on it if you don't mind, Sam,"
he said, hiding his disappointment. "Then let's get your ticket, and maybe tomorrow night we could go to the cinema. The Scarlet Pimpernel is showing at the Rialto."
"That would be lovely."
She meant it. The film starred Leslie Howard, and he was one of her favourite actors. Once she had her ticket, Sam found her an empty carriage on the train. "Because I know you like reading when you're travelling," he said as she stepped into the carriage and he closed the door after her. "And, with luck, there'll be no one to disturb you all the way to Oxford." The carriage window was down and she rested her arms on its sill.
"Where are you going from here, Sam? Straight back to Willesden?"
"No, I'm going to head to Ilkley and blow the cobwebs away by riding over the moor."
"Then take my picnic lunch, because I have no need of it."
Opening her shoulder bag, she took out the packet of sandwiches her mother had given her and handed them to him.
"Mum made them, and I don't know what's in them. Probably potted meat."
All down the length of the train, carriage doors were closing. The whistle blew. Hasty goodbyes were shouted. Sam wished he'd had the nerve to kiss her goodbye before she stepped into the carriage. But, as Ella didn't regard him in a romantic light, a busy station platform hadn't seemed the best place to try, yet again, to get her to think differently about him. A much better time and place would be when they went to see the Scarlet Pimpernel. "Bye!" he shouted, as amid great billows of steam the train began moving away. "I'll be here tonight to meet you off the last train."
"Thank you!"
she shouted back at him. The last train from Oxford didn't get into Bradford until midnight, well after buses to Willesden had stopped running. Without Sam meeting her and giving her a lift home, she would have had to get a taxi, and a taxi to Willesden would have been expensive. Gratefully, she blew him a kiss. Her gesture transformed the expression on Sam's good-natured face. Smiling broadly, he blew a kiss back. Ella, busy closing the window, saw neither his reaction nor his response. As the train steamed out of the station, she made herself comfortable in a corner seat and, with Sam already far from her thoughts, took a copy of The Palace of Minos out of her shoulder bag. Written by Sir Arthur Evans, it was his own account of his discovery of the bronze...